Hello, I'm Dori Nando. You can catch up with all the fun on the Cosmopolitan Mix and on all our shows via podcast. Just go to My Joy Online podcast and search for your favorite show and relive those moments all over again. Only on Joy 99.7 FM, radio for discerning listeners.
Super Hits Radio, Joy 99.7.
Hello again, many thanks for joining us. The Ghana Health Service says it is not ending the ongoing vaccination of Johnson & Johnson vaccines today till they exhaust the remaining doses. The vaccination of the J&J vaccine started this week in Accra and was expected to end today. But Director of Public Health at the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Franklin Esiedu-Bekwin, says they will keep the inoculation ongoing till they run out of the doses. My colleague Matilda Gavi joins us via Zoom with more on this. Matilda, you've been speaking to Dr. Esiedu-Bekwin. What exactly does he tell you about how smooth the process has been? Matilda, you'd have to unmute your device so we can hear you.
Ernest, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. How smooth has the process been so far from the Ghana Health Service?
So for other centers we visited this morning, the process has been smooth. For instance, at the Ghana Health Service Center, people have moved from other centers to this area because in their districts they've run out of the vaccines. And Dr. Esiedu-Bekwin tells me that if your district has run out of vaccines, you do not need to rush to any new place because the new vaccines they have, the AstraZeneca, which are
And we seem to have lost that connection to my colleague Matilda Gavi, who is at the Ghana Health Service, to bring us up to speed on the ongoing vaccination of the doses. Let's go to another center. We know that the Ghana Health Service says it won't end today until they exhaust all the doses. But in other areas, there were some shortages, especially at Mambrobi yesterday when we reported. My colleague Mamiesi is there for us. Mamiesi, what is the situation today at the Mambrobi area?
Yes, Ernest, thank you very much. As Mamprobi here, the process is going on smoothly. But then initially there was some arguments ongoing because many people who had come weren't getting an opportunity to get vaccinated. This is why, because most of the vaccines are done and there's a little left. And it cannot get round to everybody. And so they had to give out numbers to those who are currently present so that if it's finished, it's finished. However, I'm getting information from the sub-metro director, Dr. Kato, who's been telling me that they will be having additional dosage from Monday. But she's right here with me. We can speak to Dr. Tego. Dr. Tego, welcome to Joy News. Tell us how the process has been since morning.
Yes, it's been quite eventful. We started with a lot of people as early as 6:30 who had come in wanting to be vaccinated. Unfortunately, this is the last day, and we are almost done with all the vaccines that were allocated to us. We had additional vaccines coming in this morning, and that is what we are hoping to finish the day with.
Okay.
And so we may not be able to vaccinate everybody who is here today, because obviously the numbers are more than what was allocated. We had additional doses that we had. But we are hopeful that more vaccines will come towards the end of next week. Not be vaccinated today, can't have the more vaccines coming towards the end of next week.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Kato. And so, Daniel, what Dr. Kato has been telling us is that they are still expecting more vaccines from Monday. And so those who haven't had the opportunity to be vaccinated should come back on Monday. Today, many have been asked to go home because it is not enough here to go around. So that's the current situation here at Mamprobi Hospital.
Well, as yesterday, we know they received about 6,000 doses. Today, how much extra did they get?
Okay, so rightly, they received 6,450 doses from Monday, and that lasted from Monday till yesterday. That was Thursday. Today, they had an additional dose of 250, and already they have given out numbers to that to that number, to power with that number. And so when that is done, they can no longer vaccinate people until Monday, when they will be receiving additional doses from the Ghana Health Service. And so that is the current situation.
250, that definitely will cause a bit of a confusion there as we are learning. But Mamiesi, thank you very much. Let's cross over now to the Ghana Health Service, where Matilda Gavi is there monitoring the process for us. Matilda, you were giving us an update on how smooth the process has been at the Ghana Health Service where you are.
Yes, Ernest, I was saying that so people from different districts have to the Ghana Health Service Center to get to be vaccinated. The issue is that from there they have run out of vaccines. So the long queues that they were part of, they all had to abandon those queues because they are told that they have run out of vaccines at those centers. But the Ghana Health Service has been telling me this afternoon that areas that have run out of the Johnson & Johnson, they will be supplying them from the headquarters. So people should be patient and do not try to move to different locations. And most importantly, he talked about people who have received their first jab in March and waiting to receive the second jab. He says the AstraZeneca, which came into the country this week, will be deployed somewhere from next week. So people should be patient. But the focus will be for people who took their first jab in March before they will give it to people who are yet to be inoculated. But I would say that the process has been smooth. People are still waiting in queues to be served because even at the Ghana Health Service Center, vaccines are not here and they are waiting to receive more from Kolebu Teaching Hospital.
Matilda, thank you very much for the update. That's my colleague Matilda Gavi on the health desk as well, monitoring the process for us at the Ghana Health Service. It is the inoculation of the Johnson & Johnson, and just so you know again, the process won't end today until the Ghana Health Service exhausts everything in its custody. And so just be patient, don't move to another district, you will be served. Let's go to Parliament now. The minority there says they are not convinced about the Finance Minister's explanation that the 600 million cedis earmarked for the construction of the district hospitals under the Agenda 111 is yet to be utilized. The group, after the groundbreaking ceremony this week by President Akufo-Addo, alleged that the project had already been backed with over 600 million Ghana cedis. Referring to the 2021 budget, the minority demanded to know how government spent the amount of money on the same project it launched this week. But there's an explanation from government, and my colleague Elton Brobe has been giving us an update of what is contained in the statement. He spoke to Enimo Animado on Newsdesk.
So the Finance Ministry has a 6-point response to the concerns raised by the minority, in which they are raising issues about impropriety revolving around some 600 million Ghana cedis that they claim has already been expended on this particular project. Now, according to the Finance Ministry, as stated in paragraph 400 of the mid-year review statement, the project is expected to be implemented in 2 phases. Phase 1, according to them, is the pre-contract works, and phase 2 is the construction and execution of the project. According to them, in a matter relating to the 600 million Ghana cedis, which is a matter which has become a very controversial issue in the country, the statement says that in 2020, 600 million Ghana cedis was released to the health infrastructure accounts at the Bank of Ghana to support the implementation of the districts and regional hospital projects. This is the equivalent of $100 million as announced by government, and it will be disbursed to contractors in accordance with the project work plan. There's 4 points that the said amount had been released into the project account at the Bank of Ghana, but not utilized yet. Now, project commencement, according to them, has just begun. So far, only 36 million Ghana cedis has been released as part of the pre-construction mobilization. The 5th point is that following the commencement of the actual project execution, as evident in the sword cutting ceremony this week, the ministry is expecting to draw down various amounts from the account, which would be managed by the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund.
It is not convinced with the explanation. Ranking member on the Health Committee, Kwabena Mintah Kando, says there are more answers that needs to be provided on the project. He hints of a formal probe into the allocation.
This is just the beginning. If they think that by this letter the matter is coming to an end, I'm sorry, they'll be disappointed because this is the beginning of the whole thing. And there are a lot of questions that must be answered than the answers they have provided. I mean, how can you caption money that has not been spent as utilized or released? And we are talking about money that was released and spent in 2020, not 2021. So you couldn't have corrected that in the 2021 main budget. You couldn't do that in the 2021 mid-year review budget. Now we are told that these monies were moved from the consolidated fund and now has found itself in the Ghana Infrastructure Fund. How it got there are a lot of questions to be answered. Now, this is what we are going to do. We are going to go in a direction where the Ministry of Health will be summoned before Parliament. Because you see, before any money will be released for the purposes of operation for the Ministry of Health, there should be a warrant that will be generated from somewhere. Was a warrant generated from the Ministry of Health, and the Ministry of Finance will be invited, the Controller will be invited, Bank of Ghana will be invited, Ghana Infrastructure Fund will be invited, and we are going to do the tracing of the money and get to its final destination. If indeed the money is there, praise the Lord, assuming that the caption is a wrong language or is a mistaken language, what is important is that we must trace the money. Who issued what warrant? Who issued what instruction for controller to do what?
Away from Parliament, the Education Minister, Yawose Duchum, is unhappy with the high rate of failure in the recent licensure exam, despite lowering the pass mark. Out of the 27,455 candidates who sat for the 2020 teacher licensure exam, 8,442 failed to meet the pass mark. The number represents 30.7% of the total number of candidates who sat for the exam last October. A statement from the National Teaching Council said 19,013 teachers, representing 69.3%, passed the exam. There have been calls for a review or abolition of the policy, but government says this has come to stay. At an interactive session with leadership of the National Union of Ghana Students, the Education Minister said there's the opportunity for those who fail to resit.
The last one that they did, a report came to me that students didn't do well. They brought me sample responses. And Mr. President, it's important that we hold ourselves accountable to a certain standard. That if you want to teach, we need to help you to really have the requisite skills to teach. I don't want to even talk about the pass mark which was set. It was brought so low, yet some people did not make the cut. Those who were doing resets, some of them were able to make it. Those who did it for the first time, about 78% were able to pass 2 out of the 3, 78%. But if you look at those who passed all the 3 for the first time, it was about 23%. And they have opportunity to sit again and be able to pass it, just like those who did resit and was able to make it. So I had discussions with the NTC, National Teaching Council, and another exams is coming up. I also instructed that they need to have a web portal with thousands of questions for people to have the opportunity to practice, because you don't want people to walk into an exam to do it and they don't have the benefit of sample questions. And we're doing everything possible to ensure that they meet the standards. What we are trying to avoid is to lower the standard so that everybody will pass. And that will not inure to the benefit of this country.
President Akufo-Addo is fully backing the teacher licensure exam introduced in 2018 to give teachers the requisite certification to practice here in Ghana. He insists the quality must be maintained.
I don't think there can be any question about the need for us to maintain high standards in this area. It took us quite a long journey to arrive at the need for the exams in the first place. But I think that by and large the argument has been won about the necessity for the exams. teachers occupy such a special place in the structure, not just of education, but of the society as a whole. So that to have a system whereby you can have measurable standards for allowing people entry into the profession, I think it makes a lot of sense. But some of the structural problems that they have to address the mass failure that I heard from you have been identified by the minister, and I think that by and large, I think it's a satisfactory explanation.
Still on education, the National Executive of the University Teachers Association of Ghana may have called off their 2-week-old strike, but the final decision to have members return to the classroom is being determined by the entirety of its members across the country. UTAG leadership on Wednesday signed a memorandum of understanding or agreement with government to call off the strike and continue negotiations, but on condition that all legal suits initiated by government against them will be withdrawn. The NLC has since withdrawn the suit, and the Labour Division of the Accra High Court has struck out the case. President Akufo-Addo, who confirmed resumption of talks, is hopeful the two parties can come to an agreement.
All of us are happy that the University Teachers Association have agreed after some long drawn-out negotiations to suspend the strike that they had and go back to the negotiating table. Well, I'm hoping very much that some strong binding arrangement will be finally agreed on by the parties. There's a roadmap that has been established, and hopefully both parties will make sure that this roadmap is carefully implemented. It's in the interest of all of us to make sure that there's no disruption to academic work in our tertiary institutions, and that the teachers have the wherewithal to be able to undertake and discharge these very important obligations that they have. They have the future of our country in their hands, in the instruction of you and thousands of other students. So I'm hoping that the developments that have taken place will be translated into a positive conclusion for everybody. It is in all our interests that it should be so.
But happening right now across the country is a congress of all UTAG members to approve or reject the decision by the national executives to call off the strike. General Secretary of UTAG, Professor Ransford Jampo, that's the University of Ghana chapter, says it will be difficult to convince the members to back the decision. Let's go live to the University of Ghana campus and get the very latest on this. Christian Yale joins us live. Christian, what can you tell us about the meeting that is ongoing? First of all, let's start with the atmosphere on campus following the announcement that was given.
Right, Ernest. So most students on the University of Ghana campus have started making preparations. And I can tell you for the level 100, they received email notifications yesterday telling them about a possible resumption of academic activities and that they should be preparing because their end of semester examinations may begin from 30 days. So most of them have started moving to the various libraries to start preparations for exams. But they say they need 1 week to prepare for exams because the 2 weeks that they spent were like holidays for them because, I mean, the idea was that they were not going to classes, they were not having lectures and all that, so they were very relaxed. So most of them used the period to attend to their personal businesses and then to attend to other extracurricular activities. So they need school authorities to give them 1 week to prepare for exams. But for the level 400, it is a welcome news for them because they can now attend to, their project work and have their supervisors attend to them. So the atmosphere is very calm here, and most of them have actually started making preparations towards exams.
Have you managed to glean anything from the meeting which is ongoing at the University of Ghana?
Right, and so for that one, it is a private meeting, as you may know, and from what we are gathering, I got in touch earlier with Professor Jampo, who said, basically the meeting is going to discuss some modalities that they would want to put in place as they prepare to resume academic activities. So possibly we're going to get a statement from them on the way forward, and then plans that they have made for students, and especially examinations, because, students of University of Ghana were ideally supposed to end their second semester examinations Sunday, which is August 22. But because of the strike, it was halted. So basically, they should be talking about exams and the possible way forward.
Christian Yale, thank you very much for bringing us those updates from the University of Ghana, where UTAG is meeting on the decision taken by the National Executive to reject or accept and provide a way forward. We'll bring you more on this in our subsequent bulletins. Still on education, the National Schools Inspectorate Authority says it is negotiating with government to begin posting trained teachers to private schools in the country and also supply textbooks to such schools. According to the authority, the move is to ensure equity, fairness, and quality education in Ghana in the education system. The Ghana National Association of Private Schools have in recent times been brooding over the huge operational costs, as they have had to spend about 50% more of their resources to run the schools in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic. But speaking at the association's 27th conference in Cape Coast, Director General of the National Schools Inspectorate Authority, Dr. Hager Hilda Ampedu, told the leadership of the private schools their pleas are being considered, and teachers that have not been posted to government schools will be sent to private schools. Kojo Nyakon has more in the following report.
The 27th conference of the Ghana National Association of Private Schools brought some smiles to the leadership of the schools, as it was announced government would soon start posting trained teachers to the private schools to teach. That's not all. The private schools would also soon be beneficiaries of government's textbooks. Director General of the National Schools Inspectorate Authority, Dr. Hilda Hager Ampedu, says discussions are ongoing with the Ministry of Education to implement that.
Additionally, the authority is currently in negotiations on behalf of private schools with the Honorable Minister of Education, the Honorable Dr. Yawose Edichum, on some interventions such as distribution of textbooks to private schools, posting of trained teachers who have not been absorbed by the public school system to the private school system. We believe that we are also educating Ghanaian children and should benefit from the same coffers. As stated earlier, NASIA during the various mediation meetings encouraged parents to work closely with school leadership to amicably resolve issues. Equally, proprietors were advised to reinvigorate their role of PTAs as partners in educating the Ghanaian children. We found out that during most of our mediations, most of the schools that had very vibrant PTAs that were in support of school leadership, the PTAs were speaking for the school leadership. And it was only a few disgruntled parents who were the ones causing the problem. And the PTAs were able to quench it at the school level without us even having to intervene. So we encourage you to work well with your PTAs. Also, I heard the acting president's plea that he doesn't want the schools closed. The schools will not be closed down if we are adhering to the protocols and we are decreasing our numbers. But while we continue to report increasing numbers, then you are leaving the health service no choice. So let's all plan to adhere by this protocol so that we can all reduce the numbers. Then we can make a stronger case for why the schools shouldn't be closed down.
Acting president of the association, Dr. Damasos Churosong, indicated many private schools have folded up while others are struggling to break even as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. He, however, says in spite of the difficulties, they hope to pull through with the support of government.
Research conducted by NAPS and confirmed by other studies shows that the 10-month closure of schools last year has caused us financial difficulties for our schools. Not only are schools struggling to pay debts incurred last year, Many schools are unable to break even this academic year owing to two major factors. First, it is 30 to 40% more expensive to run a private school today in the era of COVID-19 than it was in normal times. This is the result of the need for us to supply PPEs, enforce social distancing in our classrooms, school buses, dormitories, dining hall, etc. Obviously, social distancing comes with the need for more space and the need to engage more staff to take care of the learners entrusted.
The association says it would in the coming days be knocking on the doors of government with so many requests to enable the private schools survive. Richard Kwejenyako, Joy News, Cape Coast.
Transaction advisor on the agreement to revamp the Commander Sugar Factory, PricewaterhouseCoopers, has revealed that the main issue preventing the commencement of work on the project is how to get some tax incentive for the new investor. The factory, originally built by the Nkrumah regime, was revamped in 2016, then left to rot again. After 2 years of promising some action, the Akufo-Addo government announced in June last year that a strategic investor had been appointed, but residents remain disappointed that the factory is still under lock and key. Before we bring you the views of the transaction advisors, let's watch this decaying Commander Sugar Factory by Jojo Kopner.
Ghana had a dream to start producing sugar locally, hence the rebirth of the Commander Sugar Factory. The old factory, built in 1964, became defunct about 30 years ago. A loan of $36.5 million was invested into the factory. Resuming operations at the factory was a perfect opportunity to do things right this time around and cut down on Ghana's importation of sugar.
It is my honor and my pleasure to declare the Commander Sugar Factory duly inaugurated.
Excitement created the commissioning of the sugar factory in 2016. Unfortunately, the facility shut down in July 2016 because of inadequate sugarcane. It was due to reopen in October 2016, but never did to date. Since then, there has been a flurry of promises to get the factory running.
The type of sugar we can grow here, all those things were not properly organized. I think our organization, and also the strategic investor, and also
But it took 2 years before the government announced a new investor for the sugar factory. Currently, the facility is in terrible shape. A comparison of the factory in 2016 and 2021 shows the factory is deteriorating. A group calling itself Concerned Citizens of Commander is upset. Their convener, Samuel Awuja, is dismayed.
I quite remember about last 2 years, the Trade Minister, Honorable Ahunkalinsi, said the traditional area should look for land. We've been able to do that. We've been able to secure about 3,500 acres of land, and that is even far beyond the expected 2,000. So as for the land we already have, it is now left to the government to come and operationalize. So anybody who talks about sugarcane and land issue, it's a non-starter. They shouldn't even go there because we have land available, and then the sugar plantation was also done. You know, it takes 6 months for the sugarcane to be ripe for the factory. When the government came in, it's been 5 years.
What no necessarily more sugar factory or musu pade taxpayers money and I been akwa hebo say baby na da ba dem adis wo won wie na aban fofo abada no so wat na adwumo dem akona abanda da obo no wat na adwumo ho na adnis wo na adno rust aban wadi ehwemo bebre.
The member of parliament for the Commander Edna Egwafo Ibrahim constituency, Samuel Mills, asked the trade minister in parliament when the factory would be operationalized.
The Ministry of Trade and Industry, working in collaboration with its transaction advisor PricewaterhouseCoopers Ghana Limited, is in the process of concluding the conditions precedent for the activation of the concession agreement with a selected strategic partner, Park Agrotech Limited, to commence operations at the Commander Sugar Factory. And then once that is done, it paved the way for us to require the company to commence activation of the company before the end of the year.
Until the factory becomes functional, it will remain a museum of monumental wastage and failure. Jojo Kobna, Joy News.
Well, the senior partner at PricewaterhouseCoopers, Vish Ahiabo, explains why the factory is still not operational.
When the minister went to Parliament at the end of July, he made reference to the fact that there were some conditions precedent that we needed to work through in order for the effectiveness of the contract. However, in this case, the most significant issue that we are working to deal with is a request from the strategic investor for certain tax incentives. And again, I think the minister put this in the public domain back, I think it was February, when he was going through his vetting. So the issue is that in the early stages of this operation, there will be insufficient raw material locally. So there has to be some provision made for importation of raw sugar into finished product at the factory. What we are working through now is the tax incentives act that will go with the importation of that raw sugar, but also plant and machine and other inputs that will allow the factory to operate effectively. In summary, that is the main issue we're working through so that we can try and reach agreement with the investor and things can take off from there.
And you heard there Vish Ahiabo, who is with PricewaterhouseCoopers. Still to come here on Joy News today, the National Insurance Commission is making moves for an additional pension scheme that will add the streams of income for retired Ghanaian workers. And Daryl Kwao has details in business after this.
Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Business. My name is Daryl Kwao. The National Insurance Commission is making moves for an additional pension scheme that will add to the streams of income for retired Ghanaian workers. It is expected to soon roll out a multi-stakeholder forum involving the National Pensions Regulatory Authority and the commercial banks to educate Ghanaian workers about the need to sign onto annuity, a product similar to that of pension. Deputy Commissioner Michael Kofi Ando was speaking at a retirement salary stakeholder forum.
For a lot of people who are retiring under the new pension system, they don't know any anymore called annuity. Okay, and the kind of benefits it has. And that is the biggest challenge that we have to solve. So we need to embark on effective education to let all workers know what annuities are, the types of annuities, what an annuity can do for you, what is the advantage in using your lump sum to buy annuity as opposed to carrying it in Ghana, must go back home and go and have a party. So that's a big one.
Okay.
What the Commission has done is to create a multi-stakeholder forum that is formulating an education plan on the annuities. We have reps from NPRA, from the banks and from the insurance companies and from other stakeholders, and we are putting it together. It's going to require quite some resources, but we are working on that as well. I know it has been late in coming, but it's better late than never. We'll soon roll it out and we'll get Ghanaians to get to learn about annuities.
All right, we have another story for you to do with pet insurance. For the first time in the history of the country, the insurance sector is going to introduce pet insurance. Yes, you heard right. Now, that is a collaboration between Enterprise Insurance and KEK Brokers. There's more from the signing in this report. For the first time, we'll be boasting of an insurance package for pets following the collaboration from these two insurance giants. Speaking at the launch of the products, which include Comp Extra, third-party amplified, Home Advantage, and Pet Insure, Commissioner of Insurance Dr. Justice Yao Ofori was hopeful it would boost penetration in the market. He therefore endorsed the policy and urged both companies to partner more in bringing out innovative products.
Interested in breaking new grounds in technology and innovation within the insurance space. For us at the Commission, we could not be very happier for Enterprise Insurance and KEK. It is our expectation that this partnership would bring good prospects and serve as a springboard for several other partnerships that would propel the industry to greater heights. Congratulations once again to Enterprise and KEK.
Managing Director for KEK Brokers Shaibu Ali said these new products couldn't have come at a better time.
So we said we should be able to add something, add value to the existing cover to make it attractive to the client so that the client will see that we are adding something more than the ordinary. We've been the leading broker for the past 31 years on this market. So we shouldn't just be happy in collecting people's premiums and then go to sleep. That is why we partnered with Enterprise to bring these things. Take the pet insurance, for example. Everybody these days, we have virtually replaced dogs with our security.
Speaking on behalf of Enterprise Insurance, General Manager for Operations Akosia Ansa Entry explained that these are unique products aimed at giving incentives to clients.
Then the new one is the Pet Insure. Statistics show that the pet food industry in Ghana is a multi-million dollar one. It's estimated that by 2025, it should be around $250 million. It shows how much Ghanaians are invested in their pets, whether it's for security, whether it's for companionship. And so we are saying that protect that investment. The Pet Insure will provide cover for accidental death to your pet or medical expenses as a result of an injury to your pet, and will also provide cover for liability to third parties. So maybe you're walking your dog and your dog goes to buy somebody, will pay for that, and other benefits that comes with it at a very affordable price. So in a sense, this collaboration with KEK is to the advantage of our customers and the insurance industry as a whole.
All right, and that's business. More news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. Up next, sports.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Sports on Joy News today with me, Muftau Nabila Abdullah. Just a couple of hours ago, head coach of the senior national team, CK AFCON, has described Ghana's group, which is alongside Morocco, Comoros, and Gabon, as a difficult one. According to him, the Black Stars will need to navigate this group if they really want to end Ghana's weight of winning the African Cup of Nations.
It's a group that is very, very tough, a group that you need to work very, very extremely hard. I am very, very grateful to the FA for arranging that friendly match against Morocco. At least now, if we want to be realistic, Morocco will look like the strongest opponent. Not to say that, or not to disrespect Comoros or Gabon, but clearly, if you check their history, what they've done, they are on top. And that we've had the opportunity to play them. And I think in that sense, we did very, very well. I'm very, very confident that if all the players, after the match, we had it, we needed to kill it, but it didn't happen. And so this time around, if we have the chance of meeting Morocco again, of course, there will be a way, the confidence level will be different. Of course, Comoros and Gabon, we have, like I said, we've started working on them, and Comoros, Gabon, and of course, Morocco. But again, we need to tackle the first issues, which is the World Cup qualifier that is coming on.
Still on CK AFCON, a question was placed before him on what it would take Ghana to win the next edition of the Africa Cup of Nations. According to him, everyone must be positive and very confident in the abilities of the team and his technical team so that they could deliver the trophy for the country.
Well, I think what would take us to win is a bit of brilliance from all of us, good team spirit, and this I call for all of you, including you. I mean, we all have to now change from where we are to a bit of positivity. The fact that I know some people doubt if we'll be able to make it or not. It's not about that again. Now We've all been yearning for this opportunity to go and win the AFCON. We want to do it. We've all been talking about, but we have been negative. And so we need to change that aspect of our thoughts and thinking. Of course, we don't have any other group of players. The ones we have are the ones we're using now. If you remember the last few matches, we've really maintained a certain crop of players. And that if there's any other player that is good, doing well, we'll bring him in. And that is what we're doing. And we believe that gradually we be able to find ourselves, in a certain way. We understand what we have to do at every given time. Ethics of work on the field of play, we do understand that. And I think we've moved on from a certain position to a very positive. I believe that now the team is positive. The team has found itself. We have structures which will try in this strategy to improve in that area. And I strongly believe in the squad, and I hope all of you will also do that. Like I said earlier on, yes, I understand, because in the last few years we've tried to come closer, and it's not worked. And so we sort of been a bit negative when it comes to the national team, and that's what my message to all of you: to be positive, think positive. We've been dreaming about it, we want it, and we'll find a way to get it. At the moment, it doesn't look, to all of you, but to me, I believe in the squad. I believe that this will happen, and I want to involve all of you. All of you. When I say this is not just us, because when we win, it's Ghana that has won.
Then we wrap up with Hazaka's ladies, who won the Waffle Zombie Champions League just a couple of days ago. Head coach of the team, Yusuf Basigi, says that by virtue of that success, they will be targeted as one of the teams capable of winning the maiden edition of the CAF Women's Champions League.
We are targeting it not because we won this one, but
it's certainly giving you a bit more belief that you can.
Yes, and there is even edging us on, because right now they are looking up to Azakes Lady, but not Reverse Angels. You see, we won convincingly, and people are now imagining which team is Hazaka's ladies from Ghana that beat Nigeria 3-1. So we'll be targets. And for that matter, we have to also lift up our game, lift up our everything to another level. Because this is not a time to relax. This is not a time for us to feel that, oh, we are champion. That one is over. Waffle is over. Now we are going to the main championship. And we also want to set another record, because we are setting the pace, and it is not over yet. Waffle is gone. Now we are looking up to the championship, which of course, just as the other clubs are also coming for the trophy in Egypt, we are also going in for the trophy in Egypt.
That is your sports for now on Joy News Today. However, we've got more sports stories to share with you on myjoyonline.com/sports. I am Muftau Nabila Abdullahi.
My name is Kujo Yankson. Let me tell you how to turn back time. You can now bring back all the fun, all the excitement, all the controversy of the Super Morning Show and all your favorite Joy shows when you go to myjoyonline.com/podcasts. Just select your favorite show and bring it all back again. Joy 99.7 FM, radio for discerning listeners.
Radio, Joy 99.7.